Happy Monday, everybody. We are halfway through the year. It is July 15th, and today I'm here to talk to you about the 10 most important factors that determine a top 1% producer and everybody else. If you are just now finding this channel, my name is Dana Neeson. I run a telesales team for Tailored Legacy. We sell final expense insurance over the phone with just one carrier. My job is to help you have stronger, more sophisticated sales conversations. One of my non-negotiables in the morning is to listen to some sort of sales podcast, business podcast, interview, something where I am learning while I'm getting ready for my day. I really like listening to The Diary of a CEO, for example. He has lots of fascinating people that he interviews, and just starting to listen about what these multi-millionaires and billionaires have built their businesses, how they think. It sets them apart from the rest of the world. And one of the most recent podcasts I watched was from Sales Insight Lab. And he kind of broke down some of the things that make a top 1% producer different from everybody else. And so I'm going to use a lot of what he said in this video, as well as a couple others that I heard from lots of different business podcasts that I listen to. As usual, make sure you have your pad of paper and a pen, write it down. I want you to write down everything that I'm sharing with you here, and then try to identify, do I have this character trait, yes or no? And at the end, if you have all yeses there, you are either currently a top 1% producer or you are on track to get there. If you have mostly no's, you really need to take a step back, do some self-reflection, look at yourself in the mirror, and make sure that sales is the industry that you want to be in. The number one thing that's going to set a top 1 producer apart from everybody else in the world is knowing that they are the best. This is one of those fake it till you make it type of things. If you know that you're the best and if you believe that you're the best, then some of those natural insecurities that you have will start to dissipate. You will never get there unless you actually believe you deserve to be there. Number 2, you have the understanding that the people that you are calling need you, that your time is more valuable than the interruption of their day. Those that are so worried about bothering someone, calling them when it's not a good time, apologizing for whatever the interruption was, as opposed to being super confident and being so grateful that they picked up the phone so they have the opportunity and the chance to get to speak with you, are two completely different mindsets. The absolute most successful salespeople have the mentality that these prospects need me. Number 3 is probably one of my favorites, and that is sales is a game. I've often compared sales to a game of chess, to a game of checkers. You have to be strategic. You have to know what your move is going to be in 10 moves from now while your customer is still on move 1. And with that comes no fear, no stress, no nervousness of who you're going to get on the other line. Part of the game does absolutely include people cursing, yelling, and hanging up on you. Number 4, being comfortable with anybody that you get on the phone with, especially those that are type A personalities, people that want to rush you to a quote, or people that even think they know more than you. Having the confidence to be able to talk at anybody's level wherever they're at, especially the ones that have the money and the mental capacity to make a good decision, are going to be the ones that you have got to sell. If you're only focusing on the ones that are broke and have no money and can literally only afford $10 a month, it's because you don't have the ability to communicate effectively to those that have the mental capacity to make larger decisions. Number 5, if you lose a sale, too bad, so sad, it's time to move on to the next one. We literally don't care because we know there is plenty of opportunity. Sales fall apart. Oh well. If you are the type of person that loses a sale and you freak out and you yell and scream and punch holes in the wall and think it's the end of the world and give up and want to go have a temper tantrum and a pity party of one, maybe sales is not for you. Another thing that sets top 1 producers apart from everybody else is your activity. Activity over sales. Activity of what you are doing on an hourly, daily, weekly, monthly basis in order to get you the results that you're looking for. It is completely planned out and mapped accordingly. We know that in order to get the results that we want, the activity has to be there. We don't just log into our day or start our day hoping that we're going to get lucky and that we're going to call 10 or 15 people, and if we don't get any results from that, we're going to try again tomorrow. Our process is exactly the same every single day, whether we get 5 sales or whether we get 0. Number 7, the top 1% don't pitch everybody. That's right, because not everybody is a good fit. Not everybody is a buyer. You've heard me say on this channel, if you've been following me for any amount of time, one of the parts of discovery is trying to figure out whether or not we can even help someone in the first place. That is not just a psychological phrase to have people relax on the call. It really is to figure out whether or not you can help someone, whether or not you should help someone. When you are new, oftentimes we're spending way too much time with people that we can't help or that don't want to be helped. So being able to identify who is a buyer and who's not, where you should spend your time and where you shouldn't, is critical. Number 8, this is similar to what we talked about a couple of points ago, but you have a clear goal and path and plan to attain it. Meaning, here's how much I want to make at the end of the year. And then you break that down. How much do I have to sell in order to hit that goal? How much of what I sell is going to attrit? What's going to cancel? What's going to not make their first payment? You have to oversell in order to end up at that number. So once you figure out what that is, then you have to take your goal. Well, how many sales would that roughly be? If your average sale is $1,000 or $800, whatever it is, you divide that big number by the average AP. Then you will know how many sales it will take for the year. So then you take that total number of sales, you divide it by 12. That's how many you have to do per month. Then you take that number and you divide it by 4, right? That's how many you have to do per week. You take that number and then you divide it, right? Keep further dividing till you know what you have to do on a daily basis in order to get to your large goal. Then you have to even figure out how much talk time do I need to get in order to get this amount of sales? How many contacts do I have to make? How many presentations do I have to have in order to get this amount of sales? This is part of being strategic with your sales process. You have to get to the point where you can predict what your results will be if you know exactly the plan that it takes to get you there. Number 9, this is really important. You have to love what you do and you have to love what you sell, because true passion for something is really hard to fake. And in order to get really, really great, guys, you gotta love this stuff. You have to love the game of sales, and you should probably also love what you are trying to sell. What we are selling is important. It matters. It changes lives of families. And if you don't see it that way, if you are just doing this to make income and to not really serve and help the people that are the benefactors of what you are offering, why are you doing it? You really need to look at your why, and that will shine through when you are talking to someone on the other end of the phone. When you love what you do, it turns into a passion. And when you have passion for something, that turns into mastery. And when you have mastery, you then become a top 1% producer. When you have mastered what you do and you master what you sell, it becomes your passion. And passion comes from mastery. And lastly, the top 1% know that success is a function of how well you deal with rejection, not how many sales you make. I'm going to say that one more time. Success is a function of how well you deal with rejection, not a result of how many sales you make, because it takes far more no's that you're going to have to go through on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis until you find those yeses. I can confidently tell you that I am a solid yes on every single category that I just shared with you today. And if you aren't a solid yes, then that means you just have some work to do. That means that you have a path and a direction to get those no's over to a yes. And you might need to get a coach, you might need to get a mentor, someone that can help you understand how to move and shift from those no's to a yes. If you don't, if you're just solid no's, you probably should maybe consider another career. If you'd like more information on how to join my team, my contact information is in the description below. You can book a call with me on my calendar. And if not, I'm here to help you succeed whether you work with me or not. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow.